Hello and welcome back to the channel. I don't normally do these sort of reactionary videos because I just don't do them. I don't. But I felt compelled to today as a Tottenham fan. I'm seeing lots of people have their opinion on the mess that's happened at Tottenham, and me being a Spurs fan, a season ticket holder, I felt like I needed to just put my little opinion out there, and maybe some people can watch if they care. But anyway, it's just been announced on Twitter here that Angelos Postecoglou has signed for Tottenham on a 4-year deal. He comes from Celtic following a treble win and a double win the year before that. He has got silverware before that in Australia as well. He was born in Greece but grew up in Australia. And yeah, he's got a wealth of managerial experience. But in terms of, people will say, what does that experience look like? He hasn't managed a huge club. Celtic is the biggest club that he's done. Let's be honest, and he's gone up again to Spurs. Now, I'm not saying Spurs are bigger than Celtic. I mean, Celtic are huge, massive, but in terms of a league and the domestics, the Premier League is a completely different fish, so this is going to be an even bigger job for him. Now, I'm going to wind back, because I made a video like this reacting to when Poch was sacked. I loved what Poch did at Spurs. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end. He had about, I think it was a calendar year, was relegation form following his Champions League final, but he just wasn't backed, and this comes off the back of the stadium being built. The funds weren't there, and I think we all kind of understood, but to compete, we needed to sort of dip into the transfer market, and I think we went back-to-back transfer windows, or back-to-back transfer windows, without even dipping in, and ultimately the side paid for it, and Poch was gone after that. But then in comes Mourinho, and the hand was put in the pocket. And I just don't understand, we'd built up that much trust and loyalty and had some great times with Poch. Why we didn't, and I stand by this, why we didn't just back him? Why are we getting money out for Jose Mourinho when we could have just carried on with Poch and given him the resources? But, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? And I think we could all see it. But it didn't work with Jose, who is obviously the special one. It didn't work with Conte, who is obviously a serial winner, just like Jose. And in between that, we had Nuno, which was a very strange appointment. We've had Conte's assistant, Stellini, stay on, which was a really odd decision as well. And, of course, Mason as well, who had the back end of this season and a League Cup final a couple of years ago. So there's been some strange decisions by the board. And this new, serial winner manager appointment hasn't worked for Tottenham. We as Spurs fans, I think we love attacking football. We love free-flowing football, entertaining football. Sure, we'll ship a few goals on the way. Sure, we'll get pumped a couple of times. But ultimately, I think we really want to enjoy our football, and we were doing that with Poch, and we were coming very close to maybe gaining some silverware in the process, and I think that's the ultimate goal, of course. As I say, it was completely undone by, trying to take that next step, and I don't blame them for doing that. Getting a world-class manager in at Tottenham, it was, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't you try that? And it hasn't worked. And I think this time round, when we were looking at people like Nagelsmann, people were getting excited again, and, it may have worked with him, but ultimately, it might have gone down the other road. He might not have got what he wanted out of it. So bringing in or Angelos Postecoglou, it excites me, because let's be honest, we haven't had exciting times since Poch. And when Poch come to Spurs, I think he had a half decent time at Southampton. I think he kept Southampton in the Premier League and maybe had a top 8 finish with that club. And he could obviously do something with a group of players. And he wasn't this glossy serial winner that we brought in. And I don't think at the time we was too excited about it. But he came in, and year on year on year, it was going well. So why can't Ange Postecoglou come into Tottenham and do exactly the same thing? There's a lot of doubters out there. The job is massive. Obviously, you've got Man City who are going to win the league for the next 10 years at least, unless these charges come in and they get demoted or something happens, points deductions, whatnot. Arsenal, young squad, matured this year and are going to continue to mature with that squad, and they're going to be really tough to break down and beat. Obviously, Liverpool and Chelsea had a bad year, didn't they? But they're going to come back with a vengeance this year. Man United are always going to splash cash and be up there. And obviously Newcastle emerged with their owners and fantastic football under Eddie Howe. So it's so tough. And I think Spurs are at the bottom of that pile, if not, further down, obviously with Brighton and Villa. I think Spurs have got to understand that for the next maybe year or two, we are going to be, looking at Europa League and conference rather than top 4 Champions League. I think it's going to be a while before we get back in the Champions League. However, if Ange can, manage this team and inspire them, and I think that's what we've lacked over the last few years, a feeling. I go to Spurs. I've been going less and less, if I'm being honest. I'm a season ticket holder. I've been giving the tickets to my dad. He's getting something out of it, of course, but I just don't enjoy going. I haven't been, going as much as I should do for the past few years, just because I don't really enjoy it. The football we've been playing is absolutely dire. Even if we do win, I've seen them win more than lose, but it's just really boring. And essentially, that's what I like about football. It's entertaining. It's got some big decisions to make. Obviously, Harry Kane, does he stay? Does he go? I think there's something to be said about the current crop of players. I think a lot of them probably should move on. But ultimately, I think it comes down to Daniel Levy. He's broken pretty much every manager that's come into this club. And that's because he's so intent in getting involved in the football side of things. And I think that just needs to stop now. If he hasn't learned it by now, then we're all doomed, and Ange is going to go down exactly the same route. This isn't essentially how Postecoglou does. It's what Levy does, I think. Levy's got to work with him and let him do his job. Levy can stay within the club, make those fantastic business decisions. We've got the best training ground, everyone says. We've got the best ground, everyone says. But what's the point in having all of that if we're not playing attractive football and winning games regularly and then starting to fill a trophy cabinet up? It's quite clear that this business venture is paying off for them with the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with the NFL. We've got the go-kart track. We've got the festivals, the boxing. Sure, use the stadium for other things. That's fine. But yeah, start to care about the football. That's all I want. So a quick message to any Tottenham fan that's watching this that's been, I don't know who Postecoglou is. He doesn't excite me enough. Just give it a chance, because let's be honest, it can't be much worse than the season we've just had, right? I'm sure that's going to get clipped up when we get relegated next year. But hey, I've got ultimate patience. I've always been patient, and I'm ready to be patient again. Just bring me some attractive football. That's all I need. Thank you very much, and I'll see you very soon for some more content. Got a lot coming up over the summer, so stay tuned. In a bit.